Right, Nino, are you there?
Yes.
Okay, so can you see what I've put in the chat?
Yeah.
Okay, so these are just examples of if you compare what I've written to what you've written, what I've written has more information and uses fewer words.
Um,
Right. And this is what I was trying to convey about precision yesterday. Is so you say New Zealand has a different tax system than the other OECD countries, which impacts several sectors of the economy. Right. That's fine, but I would rather you just started off by telling me what the New Zealand tax system looks like. Then
okay.
you could tell me why it's different. You could, so you could, in between my second and third sentences, you could say the gold standard tax system is the Scandinavian one, where they have very high taxes on labor income and very low taxes on savings and capital formation. Right.
Yeah.
So I'm not suggesting that you use what I've written in the chat, but if you just think about, instead of telling me that there's something important to know about the tax system in New Zealand, tell me what that important thing is. Right? So for
Okay.
example, for example, somebody could read your first paragraph and not be sure whether you're talking about VAT or sales taxes. Right? But that's specifically a part of the tax system that we're not worried about. So if you tell me which bits we are worried about, then I don't have to think about things that are not included.
Okay. So
Right?
I have to fix my like my sentence, right? Or adding more to make it more like
Just be more
be precious,
try
right?
yeah, just try and cram as much information as you can, and then work on your writing to make sure that you do it in a fluent way.
Okay.
Right? So you force yourself to be accurate. So you provide the information, and the first time you write it, your answer might be 2,000 words long. And so then you edit hard and you edit hard and you edit hard and you get it down to 500 words. Right? Um, and then so you get, because the point is that you get there, right? I don't have a pointing thing here, but you say in the third paragraph, or the third paragraph, you say, you got the inequality stuff, that's fine, but you say Norway, Sweden, and Denmark, but these countries have relatively low tax on capital income than labor income. Give that to me in the first paragraph.
Okay.
Right? Tell me about that right up front, because that's really important, right? And then tell me that the differences have important implications for the savings rate and capital accumulation, the degree of income inequality, or whatever else you want to write about. Right? You've got Andrew's articles. Just go through and make sure you've covered off all of his main bases.
Yeah, I have mentioned like low level of distribution inequality in third paragraph,
Right.
and also
Right. So
like
that.
something like
Yep.
Gini coefficient.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay. So you like something like in third paragraph, like when I mention like what is Gini coefficient is, like uh
Yep.
okay, sure. I will
Yeah.
add
No. No.
more.
Yeah. No. No.
Oh,
So it's. I'm not. I'm. I
oh,
guess. Okay. Here's the test that I suggest this to students in a number of different papers. But a good test of your answer is if you know somebody else who's doing economics but isn't doing this paper, right? So they're doing macroeconomics instead. They should be able to read your answer to this question and understand exactly what's going on,
okay.
right? If you think about it in those terms. So you have to explain everything. You have to explain as fully as possible. You have to get in as much detail as possible. And so every word is important. You want to think about polishing every word, every sentence, every paragraph to make sure that the information is presented in the best possible order, that it's as complete as you can get it, that you haven't included things you don't need, but you haven't left off things that are useful. Right? This isn't easy, right? Don't get me wrong. This is not easy. This is difficult stuff to do. But if you're in your third year, this is stuff you should be starting to concentrate on.
Okay.
Okay?
Yep. I'm trying so hard for this assignment.
Yeah. No. And look, Nino, the good news is if you put more work into this assignment to get the writing as polished as you can, the next time you do something that needs writing, you'll find it easier to polish it. Right? So it'll feel like a lot of effort for one assignment, but if you do this persistently, you'll find it gets easier with time.
Yeah, I think so.
Right? That's what you're aiming for, right? That's part of the point of this. But yes, in terms of content, it looks like you're hitting the big points.
Okay.
So just write it up as best and as accurately as you can.
So, for question 3,
Yeah.
me and I still on the right track, right? For this?
Question 2 was the theory. Yes, you were on the right track. Yeah.
No, question 3.
Oh, 3? Yes. Yeah, you're on the right. So really, question 3, you need to be able to tell me 2 things. You need to be able to tell me why Andrew Coleman doesn't think we should have a capital gains tax. And as a second part to that, you need to tell me at least a little bit of how this connects back to question 2.
I think I have is on the last paragraph.
Right. So you give me a highly you can talk in very highly stylized terms, right? That a tax on labor income will just shift the budget constraint, and so it won't distort people's decision to consume or save, whereas a tax on capital income will cause them to save less.
Yes.
Right? Things like that. Then you can go to Andrew Coleman's work and say, well, but in New Zealand very specifically, we don't tax owner-occupied housing. And so the problem is that within the amount that we do save, we save in this inefficient way that doesn't produce productivity growth. Right? We would far rather have that money go into business investment.
Yeah. When I doing this assignments, I just realized that New Zealand have high capital income than labor income. This is the first country that I saw that is have high capital income, higher than labor income.
Yeah, you mean that New Zealand's unusual in that regard? Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's in the. And this is what I think frustrated Andrew Coleman, is that he read the tax working group report, and they tell you in the opening pages that our average tax on productive saving and investment is about 50-something%. And what the tax working group was proposing was that we tax it even more heavily.
Yeah.
And that just seems really, really strange. Right? And so I think that was part of his frustration and part of why he wrote this long document.
A bit weird for this country.
Yeah. Right. Are you good, Nino?
Okay. Can you have a look like the last 2 paragraph one?
Last 2 paragraphs. Give me a sec. Yep. Okay.
No, the above one. The first.
Hang on. Which bit of it do you want me to look at?
Type
in the chat because it's easy to hear.
The first paragraph about the.
Right. So that.
Oh no, the above one.
That you mean up here?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, right. Okay, so the paragraph that starts higher tax rates. Right, the paragraph that starts with that. Then you have the sentence, if okay, you have you have this statement in the paragraph that starts higher tax rates on capital gains will reduce people's wealth. What I want you to do is link that back to question 2. Okay, there we go. Next paragraph, right?
Yeah.
But even in this paragraph, I want you to tell me, as for example, refer to the question 2 above, where the impact of taxing capital gains or capital income is to rotate the budget constraint downwards, and so it forces people to either save more and consume less, or something, right? So just instead of just making the statement like that, even if I agree with it, I still want you to link it back to the theory.
Okay. Sure.
So even if you just say brackets as I show above in question 2. Right, okay, sorry, I'm wrong. You've got it very nicely in the next paragraph. That's fine. That's what I'm looking for.
Can you also look at like the paragraph of like in productivity goal?
Yep. Okay, so I think this goes to the bit that I put in the chat earlier, is the low tax rates on owner-occupied housing result in savings being biased towards housing.
Yeah.
And the problem is that's not, if we have an endogenous growth model, so
Owner occupy housing result in saving being geared toward housing. Endogenous goal model, productive goal, the function of the capital investment in housing. So it's
right, so you can see the chat there, right?
yeah.
The Solow model's fine, but if you go to the end of the chapter on the Solow model, you should find something on endogenous growth that suggests that by making capital investment, we improve productivity, but we typically don't think of having fast productivity growth in the housing market. So we'd rather build factories than houses.
Oh, so I have to fix this paragraph.
Not fixed to a huge extent. I think you could just, if you just go and find your macroeconomics textbook and just do a search term for endogenous growth, right? You just search for endogenous growth in your macro textbook. You'll find a quick definition, and you can just use that, just as a 1 or 2 sentence thing.
Okay, so so oh, I see. I have to. So it's better to add like endogenous goal here in this paragraph, right?
So the thing with the solo model is the solo model, you assume the technological progress, it just happens.
Yeah.
It's not caused by anything. A just goes up at a constant rate over time. Whereas with a endogenous growth model, the rate of growth of technology is some proportion of capital investment. So just go and look that up. If you've got your copy of Blanchard at home with you, just go and look that up there.
I think I have to find like definition on the internet.
That's fine. Just find. Let's have I'll have a quick look.
Endogenous growth, the theory holds that investment in human capital, innovation, and knowledge are significantly contributors to the economic growth. Oh, I see. So the housing is not equal or endogenous growth or something.
Yeah. So you'll see that the solo swan model is described as an exogenous growth model, right? So the growth comes from outside the model, whereas with endogenous growth, it comes from inside the model. But yeah, if you just look on Wikipedia, you'll find it there. Wikipedia has a perfectly adequate explanation of endogenous growth.
I think I have like put some Sorogo model here, or the last paragraph as well, or based on Sorogo model, saving equal investment.
Yep. Sorry, say again.
Yeah, I have put like Sorogo model definition.
Yeah.
In the last paragraph.
Yeah. Right. That's yeah. So the solo model is the exogenous growth model.
The outside one, right?
Right. So yeah, solo is the exogenous growth model. This is not essential, right? This isn't something you necessarily need to do, but it's just if you wanted to push a little bit further, is just go and have a look at endogenous growth theory.
Okay. For the question 4, it can so it's better to discuss like my personal opinion about the tax structure in New Zealand, right?
It needs to be your personal opinion, but it needs to be informed by everything you've done in the first 3 questions.
Okay.
Right. So the first 3 questions are all about taxes on labor versus taxes on capital. So if in question 4 you come along and tell me all about sales taxes, you'll need to provide some background.
Okay.
Right. I'd suggest you start with the things that you've talked about up to that point.
On Friday, it's 12 on Friday, right?
Yep.
What time is it?
It's due at noon Auckland time on Friday.
Oh, so 6 a.m. here.
So
Okay.
very early for you. Yeah. So you probably want to get it in on Thursday.
Yeah,
Thursday
I think
night,
so.
something like that. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So based on this conversation and last couple meeting, I think I am on the right track, but I need to
You're-
be more patient, right?
You're on the right track. It's just work on polish and accuracy.
Okay.
Right. You're on the right track, but just keep going on being as accurate as you can be.
Okay, I will spend like two or three days to
Just
to think
now-
and add
now,
something.
Did you read the article that I sent you by Donald McCloskey?
Yeah, just a few page.
When we're done with this conversation, sit and read the whole 19 pages slowly.
Okay,
Okay,
sure.
just trust me. Just do it for me. It'll help you with every other paper you take. Okay.
Okay.
All right.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay. Good, Nina. Thank you.
Can we meet on Thursday? Oh.
Yep. We should be able to. Just send me an email.
Okay.
Otherwise,
Sure.
I am kind of busy at the moment, so if I don't get an email, I'm liable to forget about things. But yeah,
Okay.
send me an email.
Okay.
That should be fine.
Thank you for today.
Okay. Thanks, Nino. Speak soon.
Bye.
Bye.